Hi everybody, Melissa Klein here, and I am taking a great portrait by Élisabeth Vigée Le Brun. That is what she did in the 1700s. Absolutely gorgeous. She did this in Russia when she was in exile and not very popular with Catherine the Great. And then also taking this female lighting reference tool by William Nguyen. And what I did is I tried to replicate the light and shadow as close as I could to Le Brun's portrait. And so there it is in its full glory and beauty. And then I just kind of cropped and focused in on the face. And I did essentially the same thing with his model. And as you can tell, there's a lot of differences between these two faces. Even though this is the female head for the Asaro or William Nguyen model, there's, compared to Le Brun's work, her female head looks so feminine and so young, almost childlike, very young girl, whereas the model looks kind of masculine, even though it's technically a female head. And so I got kind of curious, and I decided to see, I shrunk down that head and made it line up with Le Brun's portrait. And I said, how close can I get this? And here I'm just adjusting it a little bit. And the answer is, wow, that model actually fits on her portrait quite well, which really, really kind of surprised me and blew me away. Obviously, there's adjustments, many, many subtle adjustments to do to get those. But still, overall, everything lined up. And that was pretty cool and pretty exciting. So now what I'm going to do is compare the lights and darks and just take a bunch of color swatches. And here I'm just sort of making a bunch of lines showing like, yes, this is where I'm going, catching these color swatches and just really looking for patterns that happen with them. I feel like apologizing to her about but in the interest of art instruction, so here I'm just going through and pulling through, and very much I'm seeing the Zorn palette with this. Yes, she did use blue, but as I noted in earlier examples, which are self-portraits of her holding a palette, what you see in her palette is pretty dang close to the Zorn palette. And she uses some of the, blue. You can see blue in the headdress, but those skin tones are Zorn, and, in that thing. So, and then I'm just looking at these general patterns, and I'm going, okay, well, if I was to group some of these, you can see in the upper right-hand corner, basically, and that's my shadow, that's in that curvy line, that dark shadow on the side of her cheek I wanted to get. Still going through. Now here what I'm doing is I'm looking for what I would call sort of like my highlights or my lighter tones, and what I'm noticing is I'm going through with that bubble and I'm kind of checking. They're all basically pretty close to that color. Like some are a little bit more ochre, some are a little bit more pink, but they're all, I could use that same color in there. And here again, I'm just kind of ballparking these. You could do really with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 5 different colors, you could actually nail that portrait or get very, very good portrait results. And maybe that's the difference between somebody like her who's just, this great master, is that she's painting, not with one base tone skin, but with many. And now what I'm doing here is just taking these same areas that I took on Le Brun's portrait and finding them on the model. And what I'm doing here is kind of comparing, I guess you could say, value, which is the shades of light to dark, that's the artist term for values, not moral. Artists are not generally known for our morals. So, and you see, even though there's some color shifts, like some of those swatches look a little almost pink or ochre tone, and some look a slightly browner or grayer, you could put them pretty easily on a scale of lightest to darkest if you just cut these swatches out. They're more, I would say, monochromatic. And that was actually interesting to note too. I feel like I got to write this guy and say, dude, you did so awesome with this model, because if you'd asked me to look at this, I would have said, oh, that's just a grayscale. And it's like, no, he actually put in all of these different colors of tones. And here what I'm doing is trying to get everything to fit awkwardly and not be so small. So here we go. Bear with me. Please don't get seasick. And you'll see, like, okay, these values and colors are pretty close in terms of what's happening here. And I'll make a note here where the lips, which are this kind of bright coral on her, and the blush, they're darker values, but they're also brighter because of the color, and that's the beautiful portrait. So here's a little recap for comparison's sake, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.